Mark Goldbridge, encouraged by Joao Neves to Man United links. Hailing him as the next Rodri, Mark Goldbridge is delighted by Manchester United's links to Joao Neves. Neves praised as next Rodri by Mark Goldbridge amid Man United's hunt for the midfield talent. Man United are seeking Branthwaite for defensive reshuffle after a disastrous 2023-24 season. Potential deals for Neves and Branthwaite could reshape Man United's squad dynamics. Manchester United are reportedly in with a chance of signing Joao Neves from Benfica this summer. On the back of the news, the United Stand presenter Mark Goldbridge is, understandably, delighted and even went as far as hailing the glittering 19-year-old as the next Rodri. Erik Ten Hag, or however the manager may be when August comes round, has a big job on their hands. The Red Devils registered their worst ever Premier League campaign in the season just gone, finishing 8th on 60 points, and will be looking to re-establish themselves as one of the leading teams in 2024-25. With that comes a big summer of change. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his Ineos-led team will be working tirelessly to ensure that Manchester United get the names they desire in the summer transfer window. Mark Goldbridge hails Neves as the next Rodri. It's encouraging. I hope there's something in it. Over the years, Benfica have become a conveyor belt of talent with the likes of Ruben Dias, Joao Felix, Bernardo Silva, and Joao Cancelo all emerging from their academy ranks. The latest name to catch everyone's attention, however, is Neves. A mature head on young shoulders, the central midfielder has been a pivotal part of Benfica since staking a claim on the senior squad. Just 19 years of age, Neves is hot property, and whoever snares his signature this summer will have their defensive midfield spot sorted for the foreseeable future. A six-cap Portugal international, Tavira-born Neves' career-defining move seems to be round the corner, with him piquing the interest of many clubs across Europe, including Arsenal, who have reportedly been scouting him. Speaking on the United Stand YouTube channel, Goldbridge insisted that the rumours surrounding Neves and Manchester United are encouraging, though he did admit that he believes a switch to their local rivals, Manchester City, is more likely. He also named him the next Rodri. It's encouraging. I hope there's something in it. I have spoken about Joao Neves a few times. I don't have a Benfica season ticket and I don't watch a lot of them. But what I have seen of him, and I remember talking about him in January when we were doing a show and he was mentioned, is that I genuinely think he goes to Manchester City and becomes the next Rodri. Man United expect to complete £75 million move for Branthwaite. Deal to be completed by end of June. Not only is the defensive midfield position in dire need for the 13-time Premier League champions, but they are also eyeing a new centre-back, per The Athletic, especially after Raphael Varane bid farewell to the crowd after the final game of the 2023-24 campaign. To replace the departing Frenchman, Manchester United have their eyes on Everton's Erik Branthwaite. On the club's shortlist after a stellar season on Merseyside, their hierarchy are expecting to snare the 21-year-old signature by the end of June, per Liverpool Echo. According to the report, Manchester United are looking to pounce on Everton's financial situation by getting a deal done before the month concludes. The Toffees are standing strong in their position, however, and will refuse to let the sought-after ace go for less than £75 million. Ineos are making it easier to predict who they want Manchester United's next manager to be. Man United are still waiting to communicate a decision on Erik Ten Hag's future at Old Trafford, meaning speculation is continuing to mount. It is only 16 days since Bruno Fernandes lifted the FA Cup on the Wembley balcony after Manchester United's impressive 2-1 win over Manchester City. But for most United supporters and journalists alike, it feels like much longer. A fortnight after Ineos opened their end-of-season review, they are still yet to communicate a decision on Erik Ten Hag's future. The Dutchman ended the 2023-24 campaign under pressure after overseeing the club's lowest-ever finish in the Premier League era. They finished 8th in the table, meaning only their FA Cup triumph secured European participation next term. But there is one question everyone wants an answer to: who will be leading United next term? Over the weekend, it emerged that co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe had held talks with former Bayern Munich head coach Thomas Tuchel. The duo reportedly met in Monaco, only for the outcome of those talks to result in Tuchel deciding the time was right for him to take a break from management. United are understood to have made contact with the representatives of a handful of prospective candidates, including Ipswich Town manager Kieran McKenna. However, the former United coach, like Tuchel, distanced himself from Old Trafford by putting pen to paper on a new contract at Portman Road. Links with Mauricio Pochettino, who has insisted he is ready for a swift return to management, continue to persist. Then, of course, there is Gareth Southgate, who is gearing up for his fourth major tournament as England manager. The Three Lions kick off their European Championship campaign on Sunday, facing Serbia, and Southgate is fully focused on the task at hand. However, with Tuchel distancing himself from the job, McKenna committing his future to Ipswich and rumours about Pochettino swirling around without too much substance, there is a sense, certainly from this correspondent, that all of the indications point towards Southgate. He is respected and admired by members of the Ineos group and has previously worked with Dan Ashworth, who United remain determined to appoint as their inaugural sporting director. The big obstacle standing in Ineos' way is Euro 2024, where Southgate will be determined to take England one step further than he did 3 years ago. The England chief is fully focused on that objective and was never going to leave the FA in the lurch in the build-up to a major tournament. However, the fact his contract with the FA is up at the end of this year means this summer's tournament could be Southgate's last as England manager. Whatever happens over the next few weeks, many believe an appropriate juncture is approaching for England and Southgate to go their separate ways. If Southgate chooses to step aside or the FA decide against renewing his deal, Ineos could have a free run at landing a manager their inner circle is fond of. Many United supporters, quite rightly, have reservations about appointing a manager who has not worked in club football since 2009, but Ineos figures, including Ratcliffe, admire the 53-year-old, who has done an admirable job as England manager since being parachuted into the role in 2016. The way in which Ineos are delaying making a decision on Ten Hag, who they have not ruled out retaining, does create a feeling they may be waiting for Southgate. Nobody has established themselves as a front-runner to potentially replace Ten Hag, despite all of the big-name managers who have been linked with the post, and that feels somewhat telling. Southgate is understood to be a match for the culture Ineos want to implement at Old Trafford. It is also significant that he is admired by Sir Dave Brailsford, Ratcliffe, and Ashworth. If United are to appoint Southgate, it won't be happening this summer, unless we experience a shock turn of events. If England reach a second consecutive European Championship final, Southgate would be taking charge of England less than 24 hours before United's pre-season opener on July 15. One way or another, Ineos need to provide some clarity as soon as possible. But if they choose to stick with Ten Hag for the time being, don't be surprised if Southgate is selected to replace him further down the line. The only conclusion, Ratcliffe has already explained why Thomas Tuchel was unlikely Man United manager. Man United are set to make a decision on the future of Erik Ten Hag this week, but Thomas Tuchel no longer looks to be in the running to replace him. Of all the candidates to replace Erik Ten Hag as Manchester United manager, Thomas Tuchel was the one who could present the most glittering CV and the most compelling personality to manage a club the size of this one. The 50-year-old German is a master communicator in his native language and in English, and in 2 press conferences ahead of United's Champions League group stage games against Bayern Munich last season, he spoke superbly, including giving his opinion of the similarity of the challenge in managing both clubs. But there is a reason his candidacy to add another super club to his resume never really got off the ground. In fact, there are probably several. Tuchel's Champions League success with Chelsea in 2020-21 was a major achievement, but aside from that his honours don't stand out. A couple of routine league titles with Paris Saint-Germain, the 2022-23 Bundesliga title with Bayern Munich that owed more to Borussia Dortmund's final day collapse than Bayern's brilliance. This season he has guided Bayern to third in the Bundesliga, ending their run of 11 straight titles despite signing Harry Kane, 36 goals in 32 Bundesliga games, last summer. The brilliance of Bayer Leverkusen has dominated the narrative in Germany, but Tuchel has steered Bayern to what in their world must go down as a dismal campaign. Then there is his record of falling out with the executives at almost every club he has worked at. He is a notoriously demanding and prickly character, and his war of words with Bayern Munich's honorary president Uli Hoeneß was merely the latest example. That personality is partly why Tuchel doesn't tend to stick around. His spell at Bayern will last just 61 games. He managed exactly 100 at Chelsea and 127 at PSG. It was 107 at Borussia Dortmund. You have to go back to his 5 years at Mainz, ending in 2014, for the last time that Tuchel lasted more than 2.5 years in a job. He might be a big name, and he is certainly the biggest name on the list of candidates if United do dismiss Ten Hag, but that never made him a shoo-in for the job. Sir Jim Ratcliffe had already warned that was the case when he pointed to the difficulties some of the other big-name coaches have had, with Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho among those to fail at Old Trafford recently. If you look at the 11 years since David Gill and Sir Alex stepped down, there have been a whole series of coaches, some of whom were very good, and none of them have been successful or survived for very long, said Ratcliffe. And you can't blame all the coaches. The only conclusion you can draw is the environment in which they were working in didn't work. Ratcliffe knows it is key to get the environment right, and that is why Tuchel and Ineos never looked like a marriage made in heaven. Ratcliffe is keen to rip up the football structure at Old Trafford, and he has appointed some high-profile names to key roles. Omar Barada will start as chief executive next month, Dan Ashworth is set to arrive as sporting director, and Jason Wilcox is already in as technical director. This is now about a collaborative structure for Ineos, something else Ineos hinted at when Ratcliffe spoke when his minority investment was confirmed in February, suggesting a dissatisfaction at the power Ten Hag held. What you need are the foundations to be in a good place for Manchester United to be successful, which means that, from our point of view anyway, you need the right organisational structure, he said. Which means not having a coach reporting to the chief executive, for instance, which is what they've got at the moment. You need the right organisation structure, and that's not going to be too complicated. The danger with Tuchel is that he has a track record of falling out with people. You could easily envisage a scenario at United where he falls out with one of the key men behind the scenes, and that isn't what Ineos want. That personality that makes him such an engaging character is also part of the reason why he is a risky appointment in this kind of structure. He might have been the most attractive option to take up the Old Trafford hot seat this summer, but that never made him the most likely. Mauricio Pochettino sends 5-word message to Manchester United amid Erik Ten Hag uncertainty. Former Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur boss Mauricio Pochettino has not ruled out the prospect of a swift return to management amid links with Man United. Former Chelsea head coach Mauricio Pochettino has confirmed he is open to an instant return to management amid ongoing links with Manchester United, saying, "We are open to listen," when asked about potential offers. Ineos are yet to make a decision on Erik Ten Hag's future as United manager, meaning speculation is continuing to mount. Ineos, led by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, have been conducting an end-of-season review, and the outcome of that is set to determine Ten Hag's fate. The Dutchman, despite leading United to a 13th FA Cup crown last month, is fighting to keep his job after overseeing the club's lowest-ever finish in the Premier League era. United finished 8th in 2023-24. Ineos have not dismissed the prospect of keeping Ten Hag. They are understood to have reached out to prospective candidates in recent weeks, including former Bayern Munich head coach Thomas Tuchel. Pochettino, who was sacked by Chelsea last month, continues to be linked with United if Ineos do decide to make a change, and he has refused to rule out a swift return to the dugout. He left Stamford Bridge on May 21. Issuing an update on his future, Pochettino, speaking to TalkSport, said, "I have full energy and I think we finished really well. Now we just wait and see what happens. In football you never know, things can happen today, nothing, but tomorrow can appear, and any opportunity, we are open to listen." Asked if he would specifically return to the Premier League, he added, "Open to football, we are open to football." Mauricio Pochettino to Man United latest as Erik Ten Hag outcome nears. Latest Manchester United next manager news with a clear stance on Mauricio Pochettino after Thomas Tuchel ruled himself out of the running. Manchester United are unlikely to appoint Mauricio Pochettino as their new manager if Erik Ten Hag departs, according to reports. Over the weekend, it was reported that former Bayern Munich boss Thomas Tuchel had been involved in a meeting with Ineos chiefs and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. However, as per Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano, Tuchel has been ruled out of the running, with the ex-Chelsea manager set to take a break from management. With Ten Hag's future having been uncertain for some time, Tuchel was linked as one of the options to replace him after his tenure at Bayern was confirmed as ending back in February. The likes of Roberto De Zerbi, Graham Potter, Gareth Southgate had all been linked as other options, with recently departed Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino added to that list, just a few days following the end of the 2023-24 campaign. The Blues confirmed Pochettino's departure, and very quickly his name became associated with United. However, he does not look set to take charge. According to The Telegraph, the former Tottenham boss is unlikely to be appointed if Ten Hag does eventually depart. A final decision on the Dutchman's future is expected soon. In the meantime, United have continued to be linked with players ahead of the summer transfer window opening in under 1 week. Everton's Neves and Branthwaite, Benfica starlet Joao Neves and Benjamin Sesko of RB Leipzig are three names of interest to those at Old Trafford. While Neves and Sesko will be busy for the next few weeks at the European Championships, Branthwaite's England omission could be a boost for United, with talks over a potential move able to take place imminently. Sanctioning exits will also be a priority for United, with Jadon Sancho, Mason Greenwood and Donny van de Beek among the returning loanees expected to depart permanently. Casemiro, Victor Lindelof and even Marcus Rashford could join Raphael Varane as marquee senior players to be moved on.